Hello everyone. Today we have two microphones here. We have the legendary SM7B and we have an Aston microphone, the Orion. My microphone journey has been pretty long. I tried 10 different microphones for this channel in order to figure out which one fits my voice the best. But a thing that always been in the back of my head is the SM7B really worth the money? Don't get me wrong, the Orion microphone here is a good microphone and the price is pretty similar. And I believe that the Orion microphone is pretty good for my voice because my voice is a little bit on the deeper side, and then there's a thing going on with my nose that I don't really know what that is, but there's a thing going on with my nose. So I tried a lot of different microphones. For example, the Rode Pod mic. I have a cheaper Boya Chinese microphone here. I tried Sennheiser microphones, Rode microphones, a lot of microphones. But in the very end, I kind of settled for the Orion, but the question has always been there about the SM7B. So when I got the opportunity to rent the SM7B, that was a perfect opportunity for me to just figure it out which one, if it's worth the hype, if it's worth the money. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna read some stuffs here, and then we're gonna listen to it and see if it's worth the money. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Press the pants and sew on a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. The bluefish swarmed in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and trod the tall rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. Read verse out loud for pleasure. Speak all 10 of these lines into your microphone and ensure that each sibling sounds as it should. Always remember to test the acoustic quality of your microphone and your room before hitting the stage. So you are probably going to know before me. I have to take this to the computer and listen to it to see if there is any substantial difference. For the moment, we have similar settings, and I'm recording on a Rode Podcaster Pro, the version 1. I have a compression on both microphones, but we're going to do another test with the Shure because there is the possibility to adjust the frequency response on the Shure SM7B. The question is, should I have that big button as the SM7B has, or should I change the frequency response a little bit? So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to adjust one of two frequency response options on the SM7B, and the one I'm going to adjust first is the one that boosts the mid-range tones, because there is clarity to be gained in the mid-range. So at the moment we have the frequency response off, and now we're going to boost the frequencies, the higher and the mid-range frequencies, and turn it on. So is there a difference in how the microphone sounds? There should be a difference, and it should be pretty noticeable. I heard that these settings are pretty strong on the SM7B. Let's look in the computer and let's be back here and see what we got. We are back from the computer, and there's things I like with the Origin microphone and there's things that I like with the SM7B. I've done some adjustments to the voice and the sound and my settings. One thing that I've done with the SM7B is that I lowered the levels a little bit, and one thing that I've done with the Origin microphone is that I boosted the lower frequencies. You can do that in the EQ, but I've done it in my recorder since I have that ability, and it's called a big button. Basically, it boosts the lower frequencies. I liked the setting on the SM7B where I boosted the higher frequencies. I like that more. It fit my voice better because it adds some clarity. The only thing I'm wondering about is how does it work if we cut down the lower frequencies on the SM7B. So that's exactly what I'm going to do on the go now, and we're going to see how the sound change in the SM7B. So at the moment we have that linear mode with the lower frequencies, and now we are cutting off those lower frequencies, and the voice and the sound should change how it picks them up. I would kind of imagine that these two microphones should be more similar now than they have been before. Let's go back to the computer and listening to it, and then let's sum this video up. We are back. I have been listening. I've done some editing. You have heard it already. And it's funny because it seems like in the very end, I kind of removed all the characters that the SM7B have. The SM7B is famous for that deepness that it provides. However, I don't think that really deep tone is suitable for my voice. So in the very end, the sound that I got out from these two microphones are very similar. It has to be stated though that in the very end, or what you heard in the beginning on this microphone was more or less unprocessed sound, and the same thing went for the SM7B. And in the very end, what you hear now and what you heard just before is processed sound. There's an EQ and all my normal processing, and then we have the processing done in the recording. There is some processing on the SM7B too, because we're cutting some stuffs up and things like that. And in the very end, that's what's matter for me. Differences between these two microphones now is very small. However, I think there is just a tiny little edge to the SM7B. And that's for two reasons. One of them is that I find it's easier to move it around. And I think I could place the SM7B in a better way to avoid those plosives than I can do with the Origin. The thing with the Origin is that you need to talk in a very specific angle on it. And that's the side angle. Either it has to be straight up like this, and well, that doesn't look very nice in front of the camera, while the SM7B has a little bit wider range to be suitable to have in front of a camera. The other thing is that, how should I put my words on this? The other thing is how the microphone is actually sound. I think the SM7B has a tiny little bit more richness to the sound, and there's a deeper feeling to it, the sound, even now when I'm adjusting. This is me from the editing, and I think my opinion have changed a little bit when I've heard my voice during the editing process. I think I lean a little bit more to the Aston Origin microphone because for me, it has a little bit more clarity that works better for my voice. Every voice is unique, so the situation might be different for you with the SM7B, and perhaps if I spend more time with the SM7B, fine-tuning and figuring some stuff out, that might change. But for now, I lean more towards the Aston Origin. Back to the edit, all these things. And we also have to state one thing here. There's far more processing going on in the sound that comes from this microphone than it is in this one. The SM7B basically have a compressor, but there's no EQ or anything, and we only adjusted the frequency response on the microphone itself. So, well, in one way that's an EQ, but it's a little bit less processing that has to be done. But then again, that processing is something that I'm just have stacked up in presets and stuff like that. So in the very end, they're very similar, and the amount of work that have to be done when you're having a workflow like this where everything is the same all the time, in the very end, there's a very little difference between these microphones. So the question I asked myself in the very beginning is, does it hold any value for me to buy an SM7B? Let's sum this up. For me, it's not worth upgrading to an SM7B because I already have a very good microphone, and that's the main thing. You need to spend your money to buy a good microphone, because the cheaper ones or the entry-level microphone, well, let's just say you get what you pay for. The Aston Origin is a very good microphone, and so is the SM7B. Every voice is unique, so what works for you might not work for me. I'm interested to know if you agree with me, if you think that my voice sounds better on the Aston Origin, or if it sounds way better on the SM7B. That's, of course, is also subjective, and I have this whole mind trick going on that I have to listen to my own voice, and that's always a little bit special. If you like this kind of content and it holds some sort of value for you, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. We have been on very deep water here talking about sound and things like that. Anyway, if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. I see you later. Take care.